So I think that that's great for you. And then as Jupiter moves forward and goes deeper into your ninth house, what does it do? Well, it begins to trine your natal Neptune. So if we look at sort of the cosmic wisdom, right? You've got Saturn comes in, breaks down Neptune, dismantles. Here comes Jupiter. It hits your Neptune. It's like, let's rebuild. Let's rebuild from a place of greater wisdom and a greater sense of perspective, because now it's in your ninth house. You're getting closer and closer to your midheaven. So it's giving you a much greater overview. It's like you get this aha. It's like, aha, I get it now. Look, life on this planet and life in this country is not going to get any easier for anybody. I'm going to be really upfront with you and everybody on this show. There is no magic bullet for where we are right now. You know, they're not going to all of a sudden turn around and say, hey, we were wrong. We're going to cancel out the debt and we're going to give all this money back. And, you know, everybody's going to get $50,000 to start, you know, and restart their lives. And we're all going to shake hands and play fair from here on out. That's not going to happen. It's just not. And if anything, it's going to get more contracted and more challenging.
I actually agree. What I see happening is an alternative economy coming up. It's outside the corporate world. It'll be things like worker cooperatives. It'll be people bartering things.
I agree with you.
It'll be local stuff.
Be at the forefront with that. You have got the tools. You've got Jupiter and Pluto in Leo in your 11th house. That's leadership. The 11th house is the internet. You know, there's Bitcoin, which is an interesting currency. There's Crom, which is an interesting alternative currency. I agree with you. People are going to there's Charles Eisenstein and Daniel Pinchbeck looking at new alternative models of money and economy. You know, these are things that we're going to have to talk about. So I would suggest that, you know, based on your chart, you've got an intense chart. You've got Sun in Gemini, Mercury in Gemini, 8th house, which is Scorpio. You know, you have the ability to investigate and get under the skin of things.
Would you mind giving me the name of the alternative money folks you mentioned?
Sure. Well, there's Bitcoin, which was started by the people that started BitTorrent, and you can actually do transactions in Bitcoin, and they are untrackable. There are websites that traffic in Bitcoin, and the whole idea with Bitcoin is that once you transfer your money into Bitcoin and do transactions with other Bitcoin vendors, they're completely invisible.
And Bitcoin is Bitcoin?
That's right. And then the other is Crom, Crom. I know less about Crom, but I know it's just emerging. It is another alternative economy online. And then Charles Eisenstein, Daniel Pinchbeck are doing a lot of stuff with the future of money. You may want to look at some stuff that they're doing. I'm not completely and utterly sold on it, but I think it's worth looking at. And then of course you'll run across, and I'm going to give you the buyer beware, the resource-based economy. Beware of that, because the resource-based economy is another name for slave labor.
Yeah.
So anyway, you've got the tools. Let me tell you, I wouldn't send you out there without the tools. You got the tools. You got Venus in Cancer right on your midheaven. Okay. And Venus in Cancer. If you have you been to my website at all by any chance?
No, I'm going to though. Tell me what I should be looking for.
Well, just go to my latest post on Pluto and Capricorn, and I talk about Cancer and Cancerian values, and why Cancer is important in terms of the times that we're living. And you should look at it because you have Cancer at 11 degrees in your midheaven. You're going to have a Pluto Cancer opposition coming up in 20. Pluto gets to 9 degrees in 2012, so it will oppose. By the way, my Saturn is right on your midheaven. So I'm sorry, I apologize. My Saturn is right opposite your midheaven in Capricorn at 11 degrees. So you know you're going to be dealing with Pluto this year, and then in 2013 you're going to have an exact opposition of Pluto on your midheaven. It's going to be a very powerful transit for you. So, but you're tough, though. You're a tough person, and I don't mean tough in the sense that you're mean, but you're tough in the sense that you have a lot of staying power. And I think that there's great things ahead for you, but you're going to have to take a leadership position.
Thank you. But do you mind if I ask you about the Venus on the midheaven? People have told me that means my career should be in the arts, doing something with the arts. And while I like the arts, that doesn't feel right to me.
Well, I think that that's a kind of a limited interpretation of Venus. We looked at Cancer. What does Cancer do? Cancer is about nurturing. Cancer is about taking care of people. Cancer is about feeding people. Cancer is about clothing people. Cancer is about, finding shelter for people. So I think arts could be there should be a broader definition of arts. It could be healing arts. It could be culinary arts. Any of those things. Cancer is about continuity. I talk about this on my latest post. Cancer is about feeding and clothing and nurturing because it is engaged in the art of birth. Birth is longevity. It is continuity. So anything that you do that's related to continuity, birth, longevity, legacy, those are all very highlighted. But because it's in Venus is there, you should not do it alone. You need to partner with people.
Wow. You have given me so much insight into my chart. I truly, truly appreciate it.
Well, it's my pleasure, Ellen. It's what I do. And, go to my website, check it out. I post a couple times a week, and, some people find what I post interesting. And, the best thing you can do is go out in the world and, be a success and be as happy with, your path as possible and share your gifts. That's what we're all here to do, and that's what I'm doing.
Thank you so much, and have a great day, Robert.
All right, take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, that's Ellen, new friend from Brooklyn. Tell people about the show, Ellen. Let's go to the 5. See, it's 11:35. Let's go to 510. They've been on hold for 33 minutes. Hey, you're on the air with Robert. Hello.
Hi.
Hey, who's this?
Hi, this is Monica. How are you?
Hey, Monica. I'm good. Where are you calling from?
Oh, I'm calling from California.
You're in the 5 and dime. I know you're calling from my area code.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, yes, I've been by Point Richmond. Very nice.
It is. It's Point Richmond is kind of it reminds me of Alameda in some ways, and Point Richmond is kind of a little nook out of time, and I like it that way.
I understand.
Sleepy little place. Well, so what do you want to talk? By the way, thank you for holding for 33 minutes. What do you want to talk about today?
Well, if you can give me some insight into, in terms of just life and career and just life in itself.
Okay.
I mean, I'm new to astrology. I have a general idea of it, but I don't know much about it.
Okay. Well, since you're the only person online waiting to talk with me, I'm going to do a full solar chart for you. So let's do this, or a full natal chart, rather. Let's do this. Give me your birthday.
7/1855 at 12:02 a.m.
1837. Okay, 1955. 2:03 a.m.
2:02.
2:02. And where did that glorious event take place?
In California.
Which city?
San Francisco.
Okay. Okay. There's a San Francisco, Minnesota. I didn't know that. Let's see. Wonder if Janet knows that. All right, here we go. There you are. Have you ever had your chart done before?
No, but I did do something with numerology. I don't know if that's similar.
So you are you're a Taurus rising. Taurus rising, and you have Moon in Cancer. and you have Mercury in Cancer, and you have Sun in Cancer, and you have Venus in Cancer, and you have Uranus in Cancer. So we would call that, let's see, would it be you're not a triple Cancer, you're not a quad Cancer, you're like a quintuple Cancer. So you have 5 planets in the sign of Cancer. You really wanted to get this Cancer thing down in this lifetime. So it's pretty rare. I've never seen. So some people have maybe 2 signs, 2 planets in one sign. Okay. Some people have 3 planets in one sign. You have 5 planets, very unusual. And Cancer is a very feeling. I just went on a little Cancer riff while you're waiting, which I'm sure you heard. Very feeling, very, very nurturing. It's also a very psychic sign. And with Moon in Cancer and Mercury in Cancer, you should be very intuitive. And being able to understand people's moods, being able to have precognitive dreams at times, being able to, think about things people are going to say before they say them, getting really very clear at times psychic impressions. Would you consider yourself a psychic person?
Well, I can read people's energy easily. I can see below the surface, and it can be very frustrating and exasperating at times because, it becomes difficult to, you can't change that a lot of times.
Right. But you can't shut it off.
No.
Yeah, so you're always intuiting and feeling. I mean, that's part of the challenge of your chart is the sensitivity. And you have got to be around people that I wouldn't say they treat you with kid gloves, but you've got to be around people that respect you, and you've got to be around people that are sensitive about you and your moods and what you need. You cannot be around negative people.
Oh, you are so right. Small doses of it, but like really mean people who have bad intentions and who are just, enacting their frustrations and jealousies and rage out on other people is something I cannot be around.
No, you can't. I mean, you've got to be around really supportive, nurturing. I mean, because you yourself can be incredibly nurturing and supportive. I mean, you've got, Venus, Mercury, and the Moon are all in your second house, which is the house of Taurus. So you have, all these great aspects of being like an earth goddess, like a really nurturing, caring earth goddess. And those are gifts that should not be spent on people that are not deserving of them.
Yes, and I've been running into a lot of it for a very long time. So it's very draining, and so then I'm not able to be as loving and kind and patient as I would like to be.
Right, because that's the flip side of Cancer. The flip side of Cancer is when they're drained and grouchy. Yeah, they're moody. They're short with people. They can be acerbic. So the key for anybody that's got a lot of Cancer in their chart, they got to take time out and they've got to nurture themselves. And when they do, more so than almost any other sign. And right now, you've had, I was talking about Pluto earlier on in Capricorn. You've got Pluto opposing your Mercury right now, and that can be a heavy energy. Pluto is in your 8th house, and whenever you have a Pluto 8th house transit, you're dealing with very intense life and death stuff. Encountering, deaths of people around you. Feeling like the death of the economy. Maybe you lost your job with the Pluto transit in Capricorn in the 8th house, having to downsize. Those are all Pluto 8th house experiences.